Gonsina nali kacha na kacha munna na kacha na bankola kola na kacha munna na kacha cool me ko welde be ke especially the special select investigation committee me ya lonko député bu wala londi non pour ka qu'est-ce zero ke na fulo la na fulo me ya lonko yaya jembe la watu yaya jembe la watu tiñarol mel kata anen yaya jembe fon kabla ka bojang ay na fulul mel to koma albeya kalam dalako 2017 ye commission ngolon di kam commission of inquiry me ya lonko ya tola jane commission niyaje ya tola jane commission because uncle Surahata jane wala modi me ya lonko wala commission ni nyaton kaya bari be ya jele commission ni kabli commission of inquiry ni ke kulu melketa abe kumala baki pour na gambien kulu kalam tan ni nyina alon kukuru ni aka commence dulalo aka bandulalo so mel ya lonko wala ma commence dulalo sa commence dulalo fo mel ya lonko wala commence dulalo ne ya temo long ya labang long wol fanan I mean see haklo bulend cool million go wol because this is about our country. We have no other place than the Gambia. Ndol mandula soto même manke Gambia ti odo ni atara ndol yekeloke na mansa kunda kuto sama na sindi nyimbango kam o mansa kunda nyinko ya jembe la mansa kunda men boto jang o mansa kunda tinyarol melke o mansa kunda na fulol meltinya ko pour so na fulol tanole ka banko samba ka banko londu ku. That is the main reason why the commission of inquiry. Why should we do a commission of inquiry? And each of these commissioners were paid with a lot of money. Commissioners were paid more than $100,000. Why a month? Why no killer? Already, Ndolko, na fulol tinyata. Ndolko ya jembe na fulol kasara. Ndolko ya jembe nyapin kamale ke na banko ka. Na commission olondi, o commission fa na molta ne tombong na doko dila. Mbe jokam kolibala. Pat ne tombong pure doko menke ndol man nam fonje o kono. O doko man na banko na fa kenna, o doko man nan tol na fa kenna. O doko man nan tol na fa kenna. Anu mbe yimbe fo la killing. Ha. De mbe yimbe fo la killing mo be understand. Because the commission of inquiry, one, another kan karandi. Another pour kan karandi. Tinyarol melketa, sunyarol nyulketa nyadile. E keta nyadile. Mbe o sunyarol nyulu, mbe stopla no nyadile. Mbe na banko protecla no nyadile. Mbe mum fere lekele kaje ko, o tinyarol melketa mansa kunda kono, o tinyarol nyulu wol kana ke kotanke. That was the main reason of the commission of inquiries. Anem kotanke mum kaje ko na fulol mel ya lonko ya jembe ita masa kunda kono ay dundu kolto melto bewol sotla no nyaadile mbe wafile no nyaadile na kodo sika na dundi na masa kunda kono na kodo sika na dundi masa kunda kono na banko do kwala na banko do ko andu ni momo ka fale ko the $1 billion corruption is this ni momo ka fale ko wo jana commission kondo wota Gambia samba yodula wallahi ay wulu yala fali jana commission ye famo men be long ye famo men be tara ya jembe bulu wallahi ni atara num mo trendi wala be nunje ni atara num mo trendi wala do ko nyin tay mon be je e do ko nyin ke kilon wala wallahi binga men fon taw fola because we trust them latela the jugoso de ne famo be dila in fact we even give them securities nke jo kodola na security dila pour le doko nyinke ha o doko nyin kono nim tapala ya fenti do ko nyin kono ida mal nekita nyobala ko bo tapala ya ma bolen ko binta kele sama go the $1 billion corruption is jumale na banko kodo sunya jumale ya jembele fangol nyapin kan ibe jumale bulo kono binka jumale je ya jembele bagasol be damin ka jumale je Ilam the $1 billion corruption di ya jembela bagasol million ko dia en big corruption go nka jumalel dia bala nka jumale noje bala e kono le be jumale bulo kono be to nyal fo ñoy jam ko ya jambe kata wato men na modol lonne be nyame ha na lonne be damento na lonne mun compagnie le be bulu na lonne musia holel de compagnie melto we know it musia holel de compagnie melto no compagnie fran lonne mota mo ni la jang and we know jumale be num compagnie operate kanyim banko kanjang wala tina to my surprise I saw a name Ibrahim Jete. I will post there minala mbafla why Ibrahim Jete. Mbola la karala. Let me put that one aside. Let me put that one aside. Ibrahim Jete ko no la ni karala folo. Mina woto le mbo fanam fala la Senea. Come on. They coming from Mbola you to go. I know how I put my case. And no amount of push, no amount of intimidation, no amount of threat. And I want you people to know that. Because in them sila mola, adama dungola, that's not adonela. Ni adama dungo, adama diya, me bendo la banko ko sunya la molia fo e ka even samba kitula. Samba kitula ya jibe. Samba kitula, na ben kitula. Na ra nu kitula fa na mutul tati, na benje. But wallahi ni sorom kiti bunkono. If you ni sorom kiti bunkono. Dunia jang yomal kiyama di mbe soron na jahannam kono because ndabe to nyala kan itebe fani ala fe ndabe to nyala kan itebe mento banku dum la hala ko itebe nu wolto kadu banku dum la nafulo yewole ta ibe balu kan la banku dum la nafulo yewole ta ibe fam pusur kan la banku dum la nafulo yewole ta yo sembo ta ya jay banku dum kan ndata silete la e nu luma yen soron dunia kono ja lonko lungole mutala wato banta o lungole ni aga nyanda kan soron ne yen soron ni yen soron be la jele on be fala jele yomal kiyamatin sabeng ala wa yalon either I have evidence or I don't have evidence ala wa yalon either I have evidence or I don't have evidence ala wa yalon nda même photo nyante that's the truth mota mo baran la jam wala so the thing is Ghana Commission 2017 Ghana Commission ya londu wala pour que kiskisi roke ya jembela bagasulu ya jembela close associated molmel ya longo wala nakata ya jembela na fulol bebul yo na fulol soto nyaadile woni molmel ya longo wala ni ya jembe do koke na fulol fintita masakunda kono o na fulol mel ye bondi masakunda kono on the receipt from the central bank o na fulol nyul ye ke nyaadile ye dépense nyaadile jumale bulako na fulol ta. That was the main reason of the commission. Nentonya lonta already. Say wo na fulol mel ya longo ne long ne dundula long o koral mel ya longo ibe ya jembe tolla ne long ne dinkra long isina wo koral ta ni me wafila ne wafi dala dame ya longo abe banko na falale dame ya longo abe banko na falale dame ya longo is going to rise the economy of this country abe nyim banko la economy la wulindila but madum alialo no ko tilimbala le milkata alialo no ko tilimbala le milkata jam kabi yaje mbe ko di nyim banko kanjam. If you go to Bijulo itana Bijulo nganya jele e ko be ñu hotel lo damento hotel oni di OIC hotel nganya jele ko ba lo damento alialo ne ni tamita jela e kadula bale soto. This place is almost 300 by 300 anyabe clean ni mbale la ba Bijulo anyabe clean ni ozone la wodula ya sika iko ya sika Mafia da Mali nyo bendi ya sika iko ya di jumala ya di one Egyptian wala alaji be woko ay melo ay villa and each of those villas ibe wafi can be $100,000 each of those apartments alialo ne yodi wala iko yodi wala minaka iko yodi wala because we GT board le law GT board juma ni tambira Palmarima la. If you pass Palmarima before the foot of the court, imagine Udinko je. GT board la funko melon DJ, GT board la officer me yalon DJ. Yo sika yo dulata almost 300 by 300 meters. Naman siawati. ye wala sika yadi mo kilimula see view ye wala sika yadi ala iko way GT board la dula ni lo tolye bi o mari bo dula lo kan aka apartment on each apartment about Africa not less than $100,000 it's not a Gambian amanki ni banko dumut o kilimbala la kili ni banko kanjan ni tambita wala the next one itamen de koya di jumala areski ya koya di jumala areski koya di wala and the hottest part of it or the hottest part of it or the heartless part of it wala nyindiko na Gambia dengul meli alon ko wolle be no dulato the big bar boy soul wolle be dulato wolle dulato occupy for many years and ya jembe jamano ni ya jembe fitno soto ya jembe dole dulal boy yuni ya jembe time but jani ya jembe kata ya jembe ni negotiation okay they negotiate everything these boys are developing this area for you understand in jana commission kabra keta ala impact on the Gambians wala nambe nyum dulal fokali nyum fondin ciowol be nyum dulal to inatana mineke yo dula fransika ya di jumala ya di areskila ko aresika na hotel hotelo sa ni areski hotel lo this mean ko the Gambian boys me ya longo wolle be o badala wolle dula senyandi wolle le mon londo dula la ibe wol bayla o dula to ibe wol bayla o dula to comme ka fali en kany ndol bonne pa ya understand nyim banko kan klimbal ya ni masibo men kata nyim banko kan anu mafia do ne ba ko mafia o mafia ni diamu tataron iko ede ni diamu do ni ko ni mede do be sambala kitiyo wala be nyim banko kan jam e controlende ntendela we are not going to be quiet we will never be quiet in this country as far as we are alive we will keep talking as far as we are alive we will keep talking wo badala ajele kabona Senegal be bana borondo just ya jembele born in saint tema foka naki burfoot forest bala ya beta ya be di the burfoot height yalo ya jembe burfoot height bondi yes yalo ya jembe burfoot very good alaji woni fa na very good yalo ya jembe burfoot height bondi ko di burfoot height yalo ya jembe burfoot height tal I reserve for us ya jembe ay burfoot height tale ay reserve for us ye burfoot ye burfoot height la comme ala CV wuni ya bele wafi ya bele tala nyotema ni diam de ka ko allocation wala ali yalo ne mel laban tawdo ni alpha bari me ya lonko e ka fatlem de risifat bele living wo dulale to they are all living in the same area ngada mun da fala yalo ne de so yemineke ida male nyo bendi ida malu ma fel mil bo ma fonla itata iko ha itol malef moy dung itol nim bate they went to the same government itata minister ya be du nyokono ye mo la keno ta ya tala nyotema but anyway that is another time almost story doldi nganyum falo don projet on sa ni jalo commission ay masibo mellan tol kan ay masibo mellan kan ha wala na manyum la fokale but now Madu, now we are talking about the investigation. Yeah, Gambia funding call findita. Gambia funding call go we want the list of the people million na Bangola fengol sang. Kadunde buka fa yaje mele fengol. Because the moment yata yaje me bultorong, these are not the properties of Gambia anymore. These are the properties of the Gambians. Nyimu Gambia no la property let. And I want people to understand this. I want people to understand this. Yes. The moment yata ya jembe bulokono, go. It's owned by us. Ntole tam ñun ñoko mom. Ken momut ko. Kon suma halal. Yow bugulo man mo wax ci suma halal. Yow ay kan na fengo. Kon ta Canada am na fengo. Yow ay kan dina ko wax mba fo la bi mba fo la sam. Mba fo la bi mba fo la sam. I am telling you. Nobody can stop me from saying that. So, multada mulko, moli go and Somebody is just keep calling me. What if I from Gomurundina, you can request. Send the request back. So Gambia do only findida. They call left a car long. They are going to set up a special investigation committee. They are going to set a special investigation committee. They are going to Molla tela, son tema, mbulate noma, right? And everybody was celebrating. But they are going to investigate. Mol meliana banko kodo sunya. Kada will investigate. Mol meliana ko wale ajuni judge. Hey, nal malong how to investigate alafu mole. Nal malong how to deal with mafia alafu mole. Ndolialo na mafia ka operate nyadile. And that has reflected in your reports. The way mafias operate. Companies will be built, the shareholders of the companies will not be known. If a company will be findila, company will be a pseudo company lady, or company will be findila, company will be lonko, motel shareholder lonna. They're talking to us about competence. Somebody's competence. You are asking about the competence of who? Mr. Alaji Muhammad Quran? Come on. Alaji Muhammad Quran? Come on. It's only a person who is dreaming will inquire or will caution about the competence of Muhammad Quran. But we know the reasons why that word is coming. We know it. Because the report is not yet completed, and that also exposed the incompetence of the members at the members of the special committee. Their incompetence is been exposed. Then they cannot do the job. They did not try that, but they are not competent to do the job. And that is not from my word, it's from their own word. It will fall therefore. Because we had the chairman. We had the chairperson of the committee. They forget. And now, after tabling the report, you're telling us you forget to put some stops there. Are you listening to the public? Or are you dictated by the public to make your decisions? So in public, yeah. Because that is what we saw was on Gambia Mensafre. So if it's about incompetence, if it's about competence or incompetence, when you direct to you people, the members of the parliament who were sitting in the Yalong Alma Gambianolo, and their son, Allah has him. And the reason why they have to try and by all means, Kajoko, ya Umar Jatota, ya Samanang to NPP. Alialo. Okay, Malaf Kajam for the back. But because Mila will fall can, but it's not about them. Because my problem is I want to know everything. My problem is I want to know Jumala Nakodo Sunya. And Mela Nakodo Sunya, I want the parliament to come up with a clear recommendation. Ke Mario Samba Kiki or in a Bango Kodo Bondi. Wala Nakodo Sunya. I come more Samba Kiki because of competence or incompetence. No. Conflict of interest. Conflict of interest. Conflict of interest. Conflict of interest. But in fact, the receiver. Meya longo wole na fengol wati. Ngala jele ko million jel be mankering. Million jel the receiver. Meya longo yo wole bula wati rola. Barinko alialo no wati la nyimfo fo na ta nyaade into the game. Alialo ye banko la kodo ye banko na flow basica ita mali bente kamenta ye mito ke da mento na long where they did the meeting we know it ita mal kamenta ye so-called company yele so-called company e ka fa receiver yo yele ni banko kanja ye mo la kodo ye mo la na fengol sika na flow na material solbe ye basica yes mekele be jola Suleiman ya mola na fulo everything ya be sika ya di wala le kaya wa memmo ka ali amole ga memmo iko Au fond, in fact, I'm on reconciliation of Becky. But anyway, I like Oliver. Oliver.
No.
Bismillah. Bismillah. Baranda mata be follow no. Barnalo no ko kibaro do membe kering ya jele. Me tilimba ya membe kering banko kan ibaje kan.
Suleiman ite mute la. Daje kaba.
Okay,
Suleiman mute.
Yeah, well, abaraka baka. Thank you very much. Actually, I'm coming video like so I will bring you live nana. So the first thing that I want to say is Janinian Commission Kayele, Commission for the committee me along yalondile to investigate and look into the assets of former President Yahya Jammeh.
Yes.
And where the sales of the former president's assets. Okay. A committee was constituted, a whole committee to conduct an investigation. Guess what? At the end of the day, they also recommend that somebody before the subjects of their investigation before they investigated. That in itself is the height of incompetence. Regardless, let's not personalize this to anybody. These people were tasked with investigation.
Special. They call it special.
Especially, this was an investigation. They came out to say that they recommend that XYZ should be investigated. Ba Tambeduta is outrageous. How can you recommend for Ba to be investigated? What? You guys had the mandate, the power, the authority to conduct an investigation. In fact, a lot of time for your expert externally, your state resources will be deal. I'll parade our investigation. I'll cover nga recommend for the investigate. Bawa Gambia fair warta de. Al nga sobe amuta de. Yeah, muntu wala investigation for muntu. You had the power, you had the authority. They gave you everything that you want. Money was spent. The nation gave you their ears. Small baby la moika ila. Banko baby la moika. Iko investigation ok. Iparete ko te investigation or recommend ko rek. Muntu wala mesobe ya. That is my problem. So in general, that in itself, I committee ning I do ma understand. How can you recommend that Ba Tambe to be investigated? The word should have been prosecuted. But why is it that those words are not being used?
Means they have not done their job because they are tasked to investigate. So if they yes,
Ami Bensouda,
yes,
perceived
what perceived
conflict of interest. Bio, this whole thing started because the perception in town was Ami Bensouda was conflicted. This was the perception in town. Guess what? We gave them a mandate and task state resources. We gave them the ears and eyes of the nation to watch and listen to them. At the end of the day, they came out to say the conclusion is there is a perception that Ami Bensouda was conflicted. So we didn't move a needle here with this investigation. We didn't move a needle. With Ami Bensouda, the perception was he was conflicted. The perception was, that you came out to tell us, you believe that there is a perception that Ami Bensouda is conflicted. That in itself is like a taxpayer. This is a slap to the taxpayer. I'm not saying Ami should be found wanting. I'm not even saying that. I'm saying, we started, we believe, investigation on more investigate, and the primary subjects here of the investigation that we wanted, Ami Bensouda, Ba Tambedu, yeah, understand. There should be a third person, Ahmad Ba. And with regards to Ahmad Ba, is the typical case of Bungo Boita Saka. Because these people, Abdullah, what's on Gambia correspondence, if you read it, Abdullah Sise, they had a lead. In those words, but that was a lead. If you are conducting an investigation, somebody came to you, Ahmad Ba in that was a lead. But what did he do with the lead? In fact, what he did was he used his discretion not to follow the lead and not to investigate. If somebody comes to you by a he can't find evidence not. The guy does not have sufficient evidence. He gave you a lead. Go as an investigator. You use your discretion not to pursue it. And now, just okay, with Quran. Let me make this very clear. Kebalang nenata jabila on social media. Ankaran la lora nyat la ankaran. Nyata mala funga jab. I will never do it. But with regards to Quran, what I would say in relation to for incompetence. Okay, the question is, Nico Quran is incompetent. Abora jail at some point. Kodi. Birali a bondi ale jumala kije commission. Birin Quran boda je jumala saita Quran note. I want to ask this question. And that person, was that person more qualified than Quran? In fact, you saw that person, you saw Quran, you said Quran is more qualified, and then Quran became the secretary. Quran Bodaje, you bring in the substitute, a la deputy. Did you address the issue of Kafoko? Perhaps the secretary member among competent. Did you address that issue? No, they did not. In fact, the secretary was somebody, Mayor Lonko, he left a dronko, member Keleje, Amari.
No, yeah. No, these people are cowards, man. They are chickens, man. They are chickens, man. A lot of chickens. They saw that after I left the place, they brought somebody who we also in the commission, and they admitted was incompetent. He was not sworn in, and then
the reason why I brought this up in my analysis as a question is because I saw this person testifying at the commission.
No, but Afa, what is even me? I'm a consultant. You understand? I am not a civil servant, and I was there because I never worked with Jame. I feel sorry for Kebalang. I feel very sorry for him because he wanted to talk about the elephant in the room, but then he think that he could sacrifice me, you know, by bringing in my credibility, you know, and taint it falsely. Falsely. I think Keba should have been. He should have been a little bit shy to say that because, first of all, as a qualified chartered accountant, he was not a qualified chartered accountant. He knows his own professional record. I'm not here to talk about him or to try to bring him down, but I think he chickened out. He did a very chicken thing because there was nothing. What he could have done was to say, Mamadi couldn't do this or didn't do this properly. In the investigation, everything was done properly as a secretary. And when I left, the house just collapsed. The house of cards collapsed. They themselves admitted that during the investigation, that all this mess happened after I left. So what is it that Keba, instead of talking straight about the point, but then the other issue is, if you see his speech where he said, oh, the secretary was not qualified. What he said later, they said that they have found a company, and that company, right, the lead counsel and the others, whatever, are owners in the company. With all the resources they have, with all the time they have, the incompetency became very clear. They have police at their disposal. Can you imagine, you know how many police these people have assisting them? You know how many accountants that this National Assembly have assisting them? Do you know how many other investigators that they have assisting them? They have all these people, and they said they couldn't even tell who is the shareholder of a company that is already existing, a company that is already working, involved in a multi-million-dollar deal. They are not able to tell who is the shareholder. And then the worst thing is they have no shame to come and tell the people in public, in parliament, that it all found. Keba Lang found in the commission, and he's telling the commission or the special select committee is so incompetent, we cannot determine who is the shareholder of an existing company when we know the other shareholders. They call people last minute, and then they come back and say, oh, we don't have time to investigate. When, as we are sitting down right now, they could have gone and investigated because their mandate is on as long as the report is not finalized. And their report is not finalized. So their mandate is on. It's getting to almost 9 months now. They have almost a 9-month mandate, and they cannot determine the shareholder of a company. It is so cowardly, so pitiful. I
would agree, there cannot be an excuse for that. A company that is registered in the Gambia and operates within the jurisdiction of the Gambia, a National Assembly Select Committee, which, by the way, should have even more powers than the commission. Because National Assembly constitutionally the oversight body of our constitutional setup. So they have more investigative authority than anyone. They can go where the police cannot even, like,
no, they said instead of saying that, because they were there, they had a team of lawyers, not one, not two lawyers, not three lawyers, not four lawyers. They had a team of policemen, not one policeman, not two policemen, not three policemen, not four policemen. They have a team of auditors and accountants, not one accountant, not two accountants, not three accountants. This thing is really compromised, because they come back and without any conclusive thing, they said you had police and lawyers and accountants and parliamentarians and you investigated. Then you said, let it go back to the police again to investigate. No, I think they exposed, for me politically, I know that Keba Lang was forcing it too much. He was forcing it too much. I feel sorry for him, because he started a war that is going to haunt him for a very long time unless he issue a public apology to me, right? I'm going to really hit him, and I'm going to expose him, because that was really faint-hearted, very faint-hearted approach that he did. But I don't mind about that, because what he says is not going to reduce my credibility. What he says cannot take away.
To exaggerate it, I would say I would agree you are not qualified, because you are overqualified. So if somebody is overqualified, that could also mean that they are not qualified to be there. Okay? Because but the problem is here. This is the problem with when you give politicians investigative authority. They dive into issues maybe they will not be as important. Okay? But Ami Bensouda, for example, let's be clear here. There was a direct connection between her and a certain property, and that property was under her investigation. What is the conclusion of that? After 7-8 months of investigation, how many months now? At minimum 6 months. Yeah, okay. What was the conclusion of that investigation? How is it that that never made the headlines? How is it that Ami Bensouda was using her staff? Commission what the agreement between Ami Bensouda herself and the commission was not even clear. But somebody was the worst lawyer the Gambia had ever had, and I really wish this man is tried. The Batambedu needs to face a judicial examination for this. I have never seen anybody in Gambia, any Gambian, who treats public the public office and public material with such contempt and self-entitlement as Batambedu. Go back to the case of our family, Nati, Dundi, in the diplomatic passport issue. You look at the way Batambedu had rhetoric and tune, and you listen to Batambedu when he was talking about the parental insult on ministers and the president and the first family, blah blah. That guy is not for public office anywhere in the world. That guy should be prosecuted.
Sol.
Yes.
Sol. Go. Just 5 minutes.
No problem.
But I full for yasele. I full for.
No, but kana worry. Inte salla moyle no.
No, number after but na mari you know. Yeah, so whenever
Namu.
The point is here,
with the unique qualifications that you have, to be honest, if somebody said I'm not qualified, I would not.
No. I'm not offended. I just know that there is a political. tone.
For me, it's more like a political.
It's political, but because for me, I don't have to go around Gambia telling people how qualified I am. I don't have to do that. People know me. Even before Lamin Keba Lang Fofana started his political or whatever professional career, I was into this. So I don't have to do, but I know why he did it. But that doesn't pain me. What really missing is the fact that, they use that and then they run away from responsibility. They run away from responsibility. They pretend things that they could know. They come to the public and pretend that they don't have enough time to investigate. That's a lie. That's not true. They have the time. They have the resources. They have the means to go to any office and investigate anything. They had even got the power to arrest. Poor people may arrest. These people arrested people who came from poor backgrounds and sent them to mile 2. They said they cannot determine the shareholder of a company.
Karamaba, Can you allow me? Can you allow me just 1 minute? You see,
Okay, okay.
regarding the Ahmad Bala Kuo, right? Billahi wallah. There was somebody, and this person was part of the people Melia Lonko, Wolelian Ahmad Bala Nisol Sika, Ke Bulandi Fonkola, Ke Bulandi Motabala, Ke Samba to different locations. And this person come out, and even the National Assembly were aware of it. Now it's just for the National Assembly to go to the place and feed it out themselves. Abulai is telling us to.
No, Ablai was not motivated. Well,
no, Ablai is a straight. The chairman was
to expose Ahmad Ba. He was not motivated, but there
Ablai was economical with the facts. He was economical with the facts because
absolutely.
Yeah, to say that, what are they looking? You're looking for money. They tell you where the money is. You say you are too lazy to go and find out because you have the resources. You know.
He used his discretion not to follow the lead, but I lead so the mona tae sobende. Akoy ko Ahmad Ba la ni solu ten. Ahmad Ba zafo enen ni sol sikana bar fo jannen dunia bay to ben history bu ko ko Gambia ni sungula muti. No, let's be clear here. Let's be clear here because investigation of they got a lead. They got a lead.
Yalo main dimia. This person
okay. Nimbango malafi nimbango tilina tonyala kang. Nimmansa kunda kurumbalti mansa kunda tapale balomide. You know, a government built on lies, deceit, manipulation, and corruption will never do right. Kolom tonyat. The whole point now is any commission or whatever committee they call it. Look at the composition of the committee. Now let's even say it's 3 people from the NPP.
No, it's 4 now. It's 4 because if you join the NPP before the report, you are part of it. Exactly. The report is what matters.
So that's the point. So saying Ning Obe caring it a Jani report of Fonga Fintita about independent join the NPP. This whole point is that from the office of the president all the way down, these people were fraudulent from the beginning. You know, and what I don't understand, I only have one point. For somebody like that Keba Lang Fofana, Okaka, you know, I might have my own 1 or 2, you know, that I would not agree with Kurang, but is that the person to question Kurang's, you know, qualifications?
No, he's the wrong person.
You put Kebalang here, you put Kurang here, ko Kebalang naga Kurang yininka ila qualifications la. Moro wada Gambia ngame na nyanda Gambia wafila la wada.
Kebalang is very simple. You are a nurse. You went to medical school. You couldn't become a doctor. You just remain a nurse and then did some other courses, and then you say you are questioning doctors. He's never a chartered accountant. I praised him during the commission, but I knew that he didn't have what he was projecting to be. But I don't bring people down because I spend my life making people up. So when he tries to bring me down on such a national platform, I knew it is going to haunt him. So I'm not bothered about him, and I want us to just leave him outside.
Again, listen, look at the person that Kebalang is following every day as his boss, as the president. What qualifications does he have?
Exactly. And then he recommended Barrow for the highest job in the country. Well, he said a chartered accountant, which he could never be, cannot be a secretary. Can you imagine the contradiction of Kebalang?
Yeah, I think that's very personal.
He could never be a chartered accountant. Kebalang, you cannot be a nurse who failed medical school and come in the parliament and then you want to smear a medical doctor. Kebalang could never be a chartered accountant. He failed on it. But then he came back and then he wants to make a claim. I feel sorry for him because he shouldn't do that. He shouldn't do that. He shouldn't even have attempted that. But exactly, let's move to the key issues. I think the commission did not follow the money. They didn't follow the money because if you have assets, Melialonko, they are still in doubt. And then you come back and tell people to go iman time or soto. You couldn't investigate those assets. You have all the resources. In Conte, I know who was in there. I know their investigation setup. They have police from IGP, a lot of them. They have auditors from the Auditor General and the Accountant General. They have lawyers from the AG chambers. All these technical people they have at their disposal. So how can they say that we don't have time or we don't have resources? That is where they fail.
But what I do not understand is why is the office of the president in any way? I think, all the way down to the presidency, there was a lot of foul play in this whole game. Karundama mifaham, kaniso wafu, ulilulula wala whatsoever. That is just unthinkable in this country. The whole commission in its entirety, and as well with this, select committee, they are just tick boxes. They did nothing good for this country. And the whole point is that this country need to change, and we need to bring in a proper government. Because whatever we point at, it all boils down to the same thing. The commission did not do a good job, and of course, Nganyindolo Fanandamini Alonko, they are just trying to do NPP whitewashing because it what exactly have they done? They just came out to just give us another rubbish document when in reality they know they've looted these assets and did all the rubbish. And of course, so bondi Gambia. We need to kick this government out.
I just want to ask you something. Hello, investigation. Already, but now ye mol melta ye recommend o mol mel yalon ko ye blo chodu wolela ina mul kotanke ko pour police fane wol kisi kotanke ye na ke kitindi. How do you see that?
That is the highest level of incompetence. Nyama iba fola modole man qualify. Nyin le fon food and mobedi. Because the whole point is that if you wanted the police to investigate it, take it to the police from the beginning.
From the beginning,
you, the select committee, actually did your entire investigation. How could you recommend the police to investigate? What is the police going to investigate again? That is what I do not understand. But that also goes to tell that the kind of incompetent persons we have in that assembly to even come out and try to tell other people that they are not qualified is gross incompetence and deliberate negligence of facts. And even some of the people within and around, and you told they are not overly clean. So these are the criminals within the system. How can a criminal investigate a criminal? How can NPP investigate an NPP government? Because 4 of these people are all there. So and okay, let the police what will the police investigate? Because within their investigations, they have police officers who were within. So police do malkotenke. So that tells you the composition of this is not just this, parliamentarians.
And
behind
again,
the parliamentarians, you have police officers.
Okay, and again, I want to ask you something again. Now, imagine a report may you already tabled it before the members of the parliament, already tabled before the parliament, and you debate about that report. The chairman come out and say, there are some things Melialonko, and already the report is been shared. Everybody have the report. The chairman come out, that they have mistake. They did not put there are some of the things they did not put there, but they will put those things there. I mean, what did that tell you? What did that tell you?
Okay, what I don't understand is this a draft or this is the report that is already tabled before the assembly and they are going to put some other things there. So will it come back to the assembly for it to be debated again or discussed again? In the offering of it from the beginning all the way to the end, it tells about gross incompetence and inability to actually do the job.
Okay, let me help you. If it is a draft, for example, okay, if it is when they went to the parliament, okay, the minority caucus, what the minority caucus said, well, you to go, okay, let's postpone the debate. At least we can have about 3-4 days so that we can offer ourselves with the report. But they want to rubber it. They want them to debate it the very day.
Moro report korenti je and report korenta la fala je ñun la report ye mi ngomi vocabo ko ko dol
man ngamere ko resolution
only the complete report you will bring before the parliament. You cannot bring an incomplete report before the parliament and the nation. That is in itself disrespectful to the country.
The mistake is somewhat deliberate because I don't know how is it possible that Ablai Malabafla, the former secretary Ibrahim Sise, Albania no ko talk list report on when you know that he was the one and in fact there were people many alonko. Those people, it was very easy Puriyeta all arrest by the end of this. Because one, I can tell you for free, I watch it myself and they didn't deny it. Gilma, ila pabiri ngome naraje, ila nyaronko, ala drive all be munisisana, I'll drive on one of the junior staff, me come consult purkada nisol dal price and all that. Will be munisisana let. It told be kaitol. It told appear multiple times. Do konton korta, do mal for balemba.
But imagine they got a guy who was working within the commission. Meaning, sometimes akavoko atomo,
Get the staff of an ayawaleke.
Akatoke Ahmad Tibi, Soma Atoke Ahmed T, Soma Atoke, Amadou Bambati, more killing. What is more fraudulent? Well, the arrest immediately at our kitindi. But the whole point now is, even at one point you realize that even State House was actually trying to put their hands into the affairs of the
the problem is I do not have report buried. Let me just make that clear. But the commission of GB, we know there were confidential files that they were not willing to disclose, and they were directly tied to the president and his office. Yeah, understand. So what entails it world to Manfred law and a recommendation about those things and the matters they are relating to. So of course there is too much of politics in all of this. NPP the vocabulary would have been different.
No, the whole point is that and yalong more becoming on need a contact could be Kurang is unqualified or not qualified. But who appointed Kurang? The government of the Gambia. Where does that leave the government of the Gambia and the head of state? This whole thing, the summary of it is that we have an incompetent government that is unfit to rule the Gambia, that need to be giving a red card to leave because they are corrupt beyond measures. And the whole point is that they will do everything to cover their own corruption because they are being investigated by their own tools. So this is not an independent inquiry. It is actually NPP investigating NPP in its dominance. And then Tilimbalian to conceal that and try to use other people as scapegoats. The whole point is that Barrow and his government is as corrupt as anything that anybody can imagine.
Do you forget that the former Minister of Finance, Mambure Njai's name was adversely mentioned during the Ghana Commission. Now, the president went, and he knows very well because Mambure's name is mentioned. Mambure's name is going to be, come in the reports. The president went and appointed Mambure as Minister of Finance. And that was the only reason Batembedu is SONKO, that was the only reason Minister of Justice, they are SONKO, they did not, put, or the cabinet is SONKO, that was the only reason they did not put Mambure or the Minister of Finance into the committee, the Ministerial Task Force Committee. So that alone shows you the interest of the president, that the president did not have any interest. Because what he said, he did not have any interest, because if somebody who is already conflicted, you allow that person to become as the minister, to be the custodian of all the money, because it's about money. You don't take a commission, go. It's about money, it's about us to have money. So if you come and bring the same thief to be the minister of that money, what are you telling us?
Gambia always soon salute all the bulu. Uncle, I'm gonna leave you, man. But honestly, I think Gambians need to come together and change, man.
No, we'll come together. No, we will come together. No, we will come together. We will come together.
Mansakunda min na sunya aro na la tapolia na la bandia ko nyim mansakunda nena maje dunia adlado. Mansakunda min kan ni so wafu kemelulla wala keme konontola. Moro nena mo moy dunia adlado. This government is the worst that you can think about when it comes to economic crimes and of course looting at industrial scale in this country. And then they will use their own people. How could you even imagine those people within that committee? Dole beje wal nara la fa NPP kan ko lebe tonya sabatila ntolni wal tema wala kaje ko Gambian ko le tonya so do on things that definitely have to do with their finances. Anyway, I hope that people understand what's going on.
And again, the report also said, Gambia la main garage where Sadona Fongola Moto, Sadona an old vehicle of Belum Damento at Kotu, the Kotu Central Garage. They sold the Kotu Central Garage almost about 33 million. But what happened was, Simon Madin sang. But when they were sang, the transaction did not go well, so they canceled it. But up to now, Simon A. Martin is using the complex. That shows how the mafias are operating in this country. They are more powerful than us. Where are they paying the rent? Because if Simon Martin is occupying that place and he did not acquire that place, who is he paying the rent to?
So the transaction did not go through. That means that's a failed transaction. There is
That's
no
a
deal.
transaction.
But he is actually occupying the space.
Yes, he's occupying this space up to now.
Gambia diara la mor ndaka na be moy ni ka be moy ake kam fa.
Anyway, Monday no play that. No problem, but thank you. Thank you. Sullivan. Mana do wa fana sama na fa na full of, you know. Yeah, so I mean, Oliver. Wow, Oliver from the yes, so
Yes.
Bilong ko amo remember killing in Bangkok.
Mbela moiro la no, yes, murunda nanne.
The prank lesson.
Wala the prank nation.
Ninda na reka binyana ko ah they ñew fi ko la fonje.
Gambia. Yemen for Mafia len Gambia banko muta ya control Mafia. And if you come after them, you agent will men soto menanko wolel muy daldi wolel ka keloke, they come after you. They come after you. Unko ite institutional men investigate. Ite fang la law firm. Ite la law firm. Wolel be luring wolye. Is that not conflict? Unko for Gambia no manya na kadiam wala kola ban. We should talk about that. Not about somebody's incompetency. Incompetency, more competent among incompetent. Where Gambia na family. Gambia tola na fulo is at stake here. That's what is important. Not until incompetency or lamina incompetency or bakarda incompetency. Oman Gambia na fa. Me Gambia na fa. Ntobe men yininka wala ko Gambia na fulo le kasarta. Sila Gambia na fulo kasarta jumale be responsible ling wala. Nganu lubula wala pour yo ko ñine kisi. So ko kisi lo ay lan kene man ñebang without covering anyone. Musa
said, do you want to come? Okay, send request, no problem, send request.
This is the problem. Billahi wallahi talai. Bensuda family, I don't hate them. Billahi wallahi talai. I have no personal grudge against them. But loba nko mo kana akana come nte na fuli tiol mun to kodo mun at the first place yo kodo fon soto nyaadi la kodo fon soto nyaadi le kodo nyim fon soto nyaadi le. That's what one has to ask. Yala Gambia no bo ikamoje dron ko ye moje na fulo babulu dron yes pilala. You're paranoid because kodo la babulu. Abe trimbalia tarjirante ya ba kele kan e be tara deri ngita fem fola. You know.
La sama ni atle but mala waya manda.
Yes, so this is the problem.
So yalong membe keni yaje wala nande buge danku ni ko abunte ko yekar ñul konne and I just remain quiet.
Iko wala fo iko ka fo ko commenter ngol konne de able
mo mo entelong de buga mo kong. But the thing is ndaka to nyaale fo absolutely fo aninka mo kong aman killing.
Yes.
Mbe kole fo kala jam mel yalon ko anyanda kini masa kunda limbal yalon anin ka long because yalon membe keri the National Assembly niaji be the National Assembly for example niaje nyinju jayo bebe kala kule be keri kule ya sabu Suleiman almalo kule ya sabu yalon menketa because kiskisiro menketa e seleta kujama balle kan baru kole me seleta kan niaje itana modo no ma yesamana NPP kuti alonde bari adama mamba follow de yalon kodo be commission kodo findida commission to mobe ma wolong because there are people in the commission mel yalon ko mol lata wolla mol jigita wolla mol tata wolla kan duma kadiya mu ka fa ko nyinni be kering
well Umar Jatto jamme fon la ta NPPs there's something fishy there must be something fishy on that
ngam fo ngo there are special MPs here melialon ko mol lata wollella ko be fonninko do lata lele fonninko do ya fil mo do ya fil ko nini benta idiamute yakuma foye ibe sutura la kanne mo dolu some are family members they report their own family members into this commission because they love the country, because they have seen the cry of the nation. We are not asking them to investigate for the police to come and do another investigation. That's not what we are asking. That's not what we are asking.
Ina kasala kadana wolo tele is rubbish. Mba ba block la this days. Mba block la. Non defa. I will block him. I will block him. The tribal issue new someone na wolo to wrong. I block you. Yeah. Yeah. These people need most if all can irritate more. More important issue for can it a tribal issue for tribal come 1908. But tribal we are not looking at tribe here. We are looking at our nation, boy, how to progress our nation. Absolutely. Well, problem more. You know. The elites, we have to stop protecting the elites. Wala be Gambia. Wala be Gambia. Wala nyantaka stop. Okay? Nakare, wala nyantaka stop o banko kang. Nakare le nyantaka stop banko kang. Gambia tonya folal ni pareta ka tonya fodrong mole kanake naji ke nakare. Tilo nyama. Wallahi katonya nakare wala man betea that's absolutely wrong. Absolutely. In unko conflict of interest ani incompetency jumala conflict of interest ni ko moy ko you are conflicted way mun firle way mine mamba fla wala minin mu minati min dumala nsanna fastoto no jele dumala nga kule tamande même man finti fenne banta tama duma intela interest kan o fenne mola benta represent kan duma on behalf of me and I benefit from it. Well, conflict of interest. So nitala law firm the social security represent kan and the same time itelam lead counsel to investigate that institution. Nko, what is more conflict than that? Gambia no lang ngol to fawa. More competence yanal incompetent, that doesn't matter. Nko, okay. Iko kurang mang competent, okay? Let's agree to disagree. Bambe menasa ema for kurang corrupted. Yale ema for corrupta.
Ema boko is having conflict of interest when I move from farm.
Emo fanam farmer. Silangana jibe conflict of interest and incompetency. Gambia no mune sula.
Yalo menkeda. They want to talk about the conflict of interest, but they don't want to talk about the conflict of. Imagine, look at the way they were framing. Look at the way they were explaining the conflict of interest. That's so go Mafia ka opere wala nyama. Hey, Flaman. Yalong wala nera modul je diablo ko itara university itara dulal to billahi ko do be janna ba ngai ko na dunia tama otumo man dunia tama. Na international representation ko otumo man international recommendation ke. Kay ko kamen ka foko ka angale bafo o ka kayti ba mu de bulo ko and to have the wisdom is completely different.
It's completely different.
Mafia le do ko ke dole mafia la operation fente gentleman mello. Ni mo amra go ma nyaaje jam compagnie betara jam compagnie melia lonko ite imagine a company registered e ka fa molye ko you tell us ko you don't know the shareholders of that company.
Ebe jelba ebe break kananunde Ebe moy kan. Ebe breakane no. Say ka moy la. Yes,
Hello,
yes.
Sol.
Yes, I'm be moy kan. Yeah, what mo ebe breakane no.
The break
Okay.
can, you know, I mean, more
Ha,
important.
ilan
So,
network ko ni na. Ha.
so,
Tente. Ha.
so, yaje Mafia ka operate nyame. Ni compagnie yele e ka ke mole tole me ya lon ko amari be deal kan what but amari comme amari ma mo yo mari long business olale. And that takes me to one guy namen to moy e ka fay ko Ibrahima Jete. And okay, hello, Ibrahima Jete. So Ibrahima Jete toje. I know Ibrahima Jete. Natara Ibrahima Jete lem. I know what Ibrahima Jete me ya lon ko ala I real estate do koke. I know I can only work Gambia kono siata back Ibrahima Jete.
Okay. Yes.
I cannot but say Ibrahima Jete janinya masakuna ka falling. Ibrahima Jete la business was almost down. So kanaka fonye ko Ibrahima Jete wala tam so and so real estate or is part of shareholders of so and so real estate me lafla ko lo nyaato do mande bari no nimma ko nara sunte wala no yalo nimma na fa ko Ibrahima da ba yalo ala en ko bakele
Yes, yes. Sunte hospital.
naga kelele bara en ko bakele naga kela bak bara en ko bakele sa ko nara sunte wala
Ha,
ala
problem beje.
nem si be ko no you know ate buka kuya buka dia ate mo wolde so yalo ne you know bara yalo ila musindu be jande kasa ala ta jang abe gambe jang amon kumandi amon text amon fe na text ga
kasa ande na be kuya ren.
bare dia text la nga anti kasa nga bare be gambe jang anti kasa ani kon kumani ani ke diu kumani kam ko banandi maji be na text amon son respond na answer do nda donc la wo e fawle so abo yeb si bo so le ko ndol we are not enemies ndol is about the country.
Absolutely.
We are not enemies. And then the thing is, yeah, we agree and disagree.
Yes.
But at the end of it, we want to change the government. So when it comes in terms of national issues, all of us have to be bold enough to speak the truth.
Absolutely.
This government, we all know this government is corrupt.
Absolutely.
And we all know, if a member tabal count is all about covering. But they cannot, it's a form of a cover, no. It's not possible.
Well, I'm doing that.
The $1 million or the $1 billion coction on me along with Banyan Gakan left a whole jabi. Go. Million banko kolo sunya. Go. Ali Samba police ye. Ali Samba kitiola. Million banko kolo sunya. Now, but all of Fanankodanki. Go. Nakodo melbul, I'll not kodol table. Nakodo melbul, I'll not kodol table. After you nakodo sendi. Million na coral ta, na coral be mol melbul, I'll for yen na coral sendi. Is that a crime?
Gambia dingul tamu na floti ye sendi.
So mida sundola bok ban bebul la jang beda mabul la jang ifle tara kayamwe.
Okay, ta walam la moy laro investigation be keka ebe investigation ola e abla sise ko mole nata ya
So you can send request again. You can send request again. Malam leke neto ko fengete you know. Last time malam leke I try to add you abuka nano but malam what's the problem you know yalo. No malam ile la pomoti. So guys, I mean, at least left like a Suleiman Bulaja for good. Yo, short.
Yes, nada.
Lampo Malay loku because I now be bulu.
Ha.
All right, now somebody from Ambassador can a man probably do know. Hey, yeah, you can continue. You can continue. It's all right.
Yes. 1 minute. Yes. Yalla ngambe sunde wato sidon. Okay? Ibe kisi roll. Abla sebe kisi roll. Okay. Mola nata je mo ana